Shalom, I'm Avi. Israeli Security Agency, known as Shirut Bitachon Klali, or the initials Shabak, is one of the Israeli intelligence and security agencies. Others are Mossad, Israeli Military Intelligence Branch, and others. Shabak, by definition and by mission, is responsible for intercepting and preventing of terror plots and attacks within the state of Israel and also within the Palestinian territories that are controlled by Israel. In addition to that, Shabak is also responsible for the securing of Israeli formal facilities, both in Israel and abroad, aviation lines, VIPs, etc. Similar to any other intelligence agency, Shabak, ever since it was established, is facing many operational, moral, practical dilemmas and questions. It is inevitable due to the nature of the work of intelligence by large, and mostly work of intelligence which involve the interception or preventing of terror plots. Inevitably, the work of intelligence, in most parts, is being done beyond the scene. Some people describe it as working in the shadows, which to a large extent it is correct. But it is working in the shadows in the sense that because of the nature of work, it must be kept, at least large part of it, secretly, away from the public eye. Working with human sources or with different technological means that were developed in order to collect and extract valuable intelligence that in the end of the day is supposed to be a lifesaver. Obviously, all of these things are delicate, sensitive by nature, and they have to be kept away from the public eye. That is not to say that working in the shadows, exempting any agency or any agent from moral and operational code of behavior. And in fact, Shabak, during its history, similar to other agencies, was going through some serious milestones in that context. For example, one of the major milestones was the whole issue of interrogations. To be more specific, what is the amount of physical pressure that Shabak is allowed to handle during an interrogation of terror suspects in order to extract an intelligence that could be a lifesaver? That huge dilemma was discussed thoroughly between Shabak and the Israeli legal authorities under the leadership of the Israeli Supreme Court. And by the end of this process, a very important codex was written under the supervision of the Israeli Supreme Court, which defines very clearly to Shabak interrogators what are the permitted moral and operational boundaries they are allowed to operate in within, and what is off boundaries. This process of defining moral boundaries, operational boundaries, is very important. It is part of the work of intelligence. Some people mistakenly think that restricting or limiting the work of intelligence agencies, including Shabak, is weakening the organization. It's undermining the ability of the organization to be more efficient, to act more efficiently. Well, reality is different. In fact, it is quite clear that such restrictions, if you wish, game rules, enhance and improve the ability of the intelligence agency and its efficiency. Shabak is a great example for it. Ever since it was established, Shabak was successfully intercepting thousands and thousands of terror plots. In addition, Shabak was successfully tracking and decoding, finding, capturing terror activists that were involved in terror attacks against Israelis and Israeli targets. Because of the nature of the intelligence work, and mostly intelligence agencies like Shabak, for example, there are people who criticize very harshly sometimes these agencies. That criticism should not be overlooked. It should be regarded seriously. In many times that criticism is clearly unfair, unbalanced. It's counterproductive. Sometimes the criticism is important, it's valuable for the organization itself. In course of time, Israeli intelligence agencies, including Shabak, learned to understand that being criticized is not necessarily negative. It's also adding to the strength and the structure of the agency. Obviously, the question is what type of criticism, what is it based upon, and what is the purpose of this criticism. People who choose to become part of the Israeli intelligence agencies, either Shabak or Mossad or the Israeli military intelligence branch and other agencies, are normally young people. They are in the mid-20s, and they are bearing on their shoulders heavy burden. The nature of the missions, the tasks, obviously is very challenging. The work as of itself is emotionally, physically consuming. In fact, literally speaking, many of these people are working 24/7. This is part of the job, this is part of the mission. They understand that by choosing to do that, they are expected, and they will, to sacrifice many things. Many times, the mission, the job, the needs of the position comes before personal needs, like family, like vacations, like spending time with the kids. This is a huge price to pay. Yet these people are doing it willingly. They know where they are entering. Why are they doing that? Well, obviously partly because the adrenaline involved in the intelligence work. Obviously partly because they understand the importance of the work that they are doing. Without exaggerating, they know that basically things that they are doing could be a lifesaver. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow. Yes, some of them are doing it, of course, because of the reputation, because of the feeling that comes along, which, by the way, in the end of the day, when you are talking about intelligence work in the end of the day is a gray, exhausting work of just collecting the piece of the puzzle one by one, trying in the end of the day to assemble the picture. There is another reason they are doing it, and which is very important, and that is the unconditioned, I would say, feelings of thankfulness and gratitude that people in Israel have to the Israeli intelligence agencies. In the end of the day, overwhelming majority of the Israelis know that the people who do this work are doing a life-saving work. It is thanks to their work of Shabak or Mossad or military intelligence branch and others that people's lives are, literally speaking, saved. The average person in Israel knows that his kids could go to the mall or to the coffee shop and he could feel safe because he knows there are some people that are working 24/7 in order to make it happen, in order to enable people in Israel to have regular, normal life like any other people on this planet, as they should deserve. And it is obvious that the overwhelming majority of Israelis have a very deep feelings of gratitude and thankfulness for the people who work in the Israeli different intelligence agencies. And rightfully so, because these people deserve it.